Hi, I'm Ash and welcome to this new breakdown video. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, but getting the right footage to explain it properly has taken a little bit of time to accumulate. The foiling 360 is really an iconic foiling move and shares something in common with most freestyle maneuvers, in that it's completely pointless. You basically go round in a circle on foil and head back the way you were going before you started the maneuver. But of course, this maneuver isn't about going upwind or turning round while sailing on foil or doing something useful to get you to where you want to go without falling in. This is a trick, and we do it because when you get one perfect, it feels really good. It also really refines your foiling technique and wing handling, as to get round one of these on foil, you need to be efficient, both with the wing and with the foil. I'm going to look at two different styles of 360, one where we backwind the wing and one where we fly the wing as efficiently as possible through the whole thing. Before we get there though, I want to talk about equipment, wind and sea conditions. For equipment, we ideally want a foil with a reasonable amount of glide, but it also needs to be easy to turn. So if you're thinking of mounting a massive downwind foil for maximum glide to get this done, then make sure if you do that it's one that also has a good turning circle, as we also need to be able to turn tightly and still maintain control. A good mid-aspect foil like an Axis HPS or Spitfire or a North MA V2 will work nicely. Alternatively, something like the Duotone Glide or an Axis Art V2 if you're going for something with a bit more glide available, that would also work well. The key is it needs to be easy to use, turn really well, but also have a reasonable amount of glide. My personal foil of choice for learning these is a Duotone Glide V2 900. This has ease of use, good glide and good turning ability, and all of those rank very highly with this foil. When it comes to wind, we ideally want to be using a 5-meter wing, because this gives us a small enough wing that you don't have problems managing the wing, and it also allows us to practice in lighter winds. Lighter winds also usually come with flatter sea state, and ideally we want the sea to be as flat as possible to reduce the demands of correcting for chop or waves to a minimum. With equipment out of the way, then there are two maneuvers that are useful to have already learned before trying to 360. Those are the race jibe and the toe side to hillside tack. I'm going to show you now how the 360 is basically a race jibe and a toe to hillside tack stuck together into a seamless maneuver. On the left we will have a full 360, and on the right we'll have footage of a race jibe followed by a tack stuck together as one maneuver rather than two maneuvers. So here we have 360 on the left, race jibe on the right, and we will see that the first part of the 360 is almost identical to the race jibe. I'm going to unhook from my harness, which I've done there, and then once I've unhooked we're going to initiate into our turn. We're now coming round, and as we come into the wind we're going to push the leading edge of the wing down. And there, and we'll freeze it there, and now we'll switch over to the tack on the right hand side, and we'll see that as I throw the wing we pick up into the 360 again. You see the wing goes into an almost identical position, almost identical body position, and we're now pulling through the backside of a tack and out, and that's the end of our 360 and the end of our tack. So you can see a 360 is basically a race jibe and a tack kind of stuck together. I'm just going to play the crossover again here, because I want you to notice that in the 360 we are just lifting the wing up slightly to get into the tack wing positioning that allows us to ride through the eye of the wind. I'm just going to zoom in on this little crucial part of the 360 where we go from leading edge down to lifting the leading edge and bringing the rear handle to over our shoulder. This is what gets us efficiently with minimal drag through the eye of the wind. One last playthrough here of the whole thing. So I unhook and transfer some of my weight onto my toes, and I want to keep this bias of weight on my toes through the whole thing. The wing stays powered to accelerate me into the downwind part of the move, and as the wing goes light we put it leading edge down slightly. As we come round towards the eye of the wind, we lift the leading edge and bring the back handle down over our shoulder so that the wing goes through the eye of the wind almost in a flag position, flying leading edge first. Then as soon as we get through the eye of the wind, the canopy refills with wind and we immediately pump to get power and speed back to stay on foil. And one more time, but this time at full speed, so you can see the whole maneuver as it happens in real time. So the somewhat obvious question at this point is, where does this go wrong when people try it for the first time? And it should be no surprise that it is the transition from wing leading edge down to flagged over the shoulder. It is exceptionally easy to become unbalanced at this point and put weight back onto your heels. So it is absolutely imperative that in this midsection that weight is kept on the toes. If you lean back onto your heels, the board will straighten up and then you are left with the wing backwinded, no longer turning, off balance on your heels, and you usually get launched backwards off your board. Now the way I've shown you so far is the most efficient and probably the least technical way to do the 360, is you don't ever really backwind the wing. It goes through the eye of the wind in a neutral flagged out leading edge forward type orientation. So as long as you get the timing right, you never have to push against the wing due to it being backwinded. The 360 we just watched is the more technical backwinded 360. In this 360 we don't lift the leading edge of the wing, but instead allow it to go into a backwinded state. We then push against the wing to gain some extra speed whilst backwinded, and then slightly later we push the wing hard through the eye of the wind and then open it out to catch wind to drive us out of the 360. This is the 360 for the more ambitious rider, and also a gateway to starting to learn to backwind the wing. It also teaches you the method to tack out of backwind. Now I'm showing you this 360 just for those of you who may have seen the backwinded 360 and have perhaps been trying this method. I would certainly recommend doing this one as a follow-on to learning the more efficient way of doing it that I've already shown. It's just this way can be used to start teaching small backwind rides and the backwind tack back to the normal stance. One good thing about practicing, or at least trying this 360, is that it does make you properly commit to getting your weight down through your knees and into your toes, because if you aren't committed properly to take the pressure from the wing when it backwinds, then you're just going to immediately fall in backwards. So this 360 can be useful to just try to get you to properly commit to weighting your toes in the less technical 360. If you do try this one, be prepared to get knocked off your board backwards. If that does happen, just fall backwards holding your wing and then let it go immediately your back hits the water. One thing you will find once you do manage to hold the wing backwinded is that you can just accidentally tack out if you keep your weight on your toes and you maintain your board angle, although this does usually end in a drop-off foil. Carrying speed in the tack is again a matter of timing and knowing when to open your wing out to catch the wind. Let's look at the common mistakes when learning to 360. The first is not maintaining a continuous turn, especially after turning downwind. It's very common to see the downwind leg get extended into a straight line followed by a sharp turn to tack out. This is how you bleed off all of your speed and glide that you need for the tack part of the 360. Keep your weight on the toes, keep the turn continuous. Not keeping weight on the toes and during the tack just going straight into wind. This part of the move requires commitment to the turn and keeping a good board angle and weight through your toes to keep you in that turn and to keep that turn going. If you straighten up here, you'll just stall and fall in. Transitioning the wing over the shoulder too late and getting backwinded. For the most efficient 360, getting backwinded is not ideal. You want the wing to just fly through the eye of the wind unhindered as if it was in a flag position, albeit on its side slightly rather than flagged out flat above you. Related to the above is not having the wing angled and allowing wind to get under the upwind wingtip. If this happens, the wing will flip on you and drag you off the board backwards. It is imperative that you control the wing angle and make sure the windward wingtip stays angled down and can never get wind underneath it. Lastly, one I've not mentioned so far, but if you're trying to stay on foil, then you can make the mistake of trying to do this by pressuring the back foot. This will make the foil climb continually through the tack portion of the 360, leading to a stall and drop off foil on exit. Keep the front foot pressure on and the board level to maintain speed. I hope this breakdown has been useful. I've tried to concentrate the content on the part of the 360 that causes the most difficulty. So hopefully the explanation of the wing positioning and the transition through the eye of the wind is clearer and better understood after watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and if there is some other element of foiling that you would like me to break down.